Welcome back to round one of the Just Car Insurance Australian Drifting Grand Prix. The top 32 has separated the men from the boys, but before we head into the top 16, let's have a look at one of our drifting technique segments and see how to initiate the drift. In drifting, the car has to remain sideways at all times for the entire length of the course. Getting sideways coming out of a corner is easy enough. The hard part is getting sideways before the corner. Drivers can use a few different techniques to do this, and the track layout, conditions and the judging guidelines will often determine the best one. The handbrake can be used to start the drift. This is the easiest technique for beginners, but is often used when chasing or in wet conditions for better control. The clutch kick, combined with a flick, is the fastest way to enter the drift, with the driver stabbing the clutch to unsettle the car. The Scando, short for Scandinavian flick, is when the driver starts the drift in the wrong direction and then throws the car back into the corner for a bigger entry. Let's catch up with a few drivers to see what technique they prefer to use.
I much prefer the clutch kick technique, coming in full speed, kick and flick. I don't want to slow down doing a Scando, so definitely clutch kick's the way to go. Full speed, flick it in.
Personally, I prefer to use the handbrake only because I'm still learning. I'm sort of trying to try all the techniques, the clutch kick and the Scando, but I just find the handbrake easier.
I enjoy the Scando, crowd loves it, looks exciting, but what I'm practicing these days is the big fast single flick, more technical and more speed. It's where it's at.
Well, it's time to head into the top 16 tandem battle eliminations. Our first pairing will be reigning champion Luke Fink in the Holford Motors S14 up against our only female registered driver Kelly Wong in the sleeker spare Zafiro. Luke Fink will lead. He's the number one qualifier, massive speed, big entry, very difficult to hold in these wet conditions, but Luke Fink has no problem. Kelly Wong though, she's hanging back. She knows if she tries to keep up and she spins, she'll have an instant zero. So better to hang back, take it easy and try and get some scores on the board, but Luke Fink will have a massive advantage after that run. Kelly Wong will lead now in the sleeker spare Zafiro. Luke Fink will give chase. You can see Luke Fink already starting his drift before Kelly Wong's even initiated. And Luke Fink is now cementing himself to the back of that sleeker spare Zafiro. Kelly Wong, relatively new to the sport of drifting. This is her first year of professional drifting, so she's learning very, very quickly indeed. And one person to learn from is Luke Fink. But what's this? A spin after the finish line, a little bit of contact there, no damage is done. Let's move into the next pairing now. Anthony Cece up against Danny Williamson in the DW Racing S15, 2JZ under the hood of the S15 and RB 6-cylinder under the hood of the S13. Both cars have ditched their SR20s. Danny Williamson leads on this run. Anthony Cece gives chase, but he's not able to hold on to it and spins. What's this? Danny Williamson spins as well. The way the judging works in ADGP, the first car to spin gets the zero. So that means that Danny Williamson, even after that little spin, will have a massive advantage. He now gives chase, needs the wipers on in these wet conditions. Anthony Cece throws it big before the crest in the Jaws Tech Sylvia. A little bit of a straighten up there from Danny as he tries to follow, but he has a massive advantage after that first run. Another little correction from Danny Williamson there, but so far he's holding it together. All he needs to do is make it to the end without spinning and to get the victory, which he does. All three judges giving him the win. He seems pretty happy about that, gives the thumbs up to Anthony Cece.
Yeah, man, woo!
Our next pairing now, the godfather of drift. Look at that mugshot. Danny Verhoomis, the Achilles Radial S15 Sylvia, up against Lloyd Smith. He normally drives the SP Garage Toyota Corolla, but he broke it in practice. Now he's driving a borrowed R31. He's been driving it very, very well indeed, but he's simply not able to match the pace of the godfather of drift. A straighten up there from Lloyd Smith on that transition, and now the godfather simply walks away, and he'll have a massive advantage after that run, as Lloyd Smith was simply not able to keep up. He'll lead on this run in the R31. I tell you what though, he's done pretty well just to make it to the top 16 in a borrowed car, throws it big. The godfather, Danny Denzo Verhoomis, is able to stay right there with him, and now he is locked on. Proximity and emulation is what it's all about, and the godfather now sticking right to the back of Lloyd Smith in the R31, and all three judges giving Danny Verhoomis the win. Our next pairing now, Ryan Slide Cummings down from Queensland to take on Michael Truscott in the Kumho tyres S13. He's giving the tyres a little bit of a warm-up there. The red smoke from those tyres. It's a good one for the crowd, certainly lets you stand out, matches the car too. I'm sure that's no accident. Michael Truscott, a local veteran, he knows this track very well, a very tough man to beat. He throws it in big. Ryan Cummings tries to throw it a little bit later, but simply isn't able to make it stick, and round he goes. That will instantly be a 10-0 to Michael Truscott. He now has a huge advantage. All Michael Truscott needs to do on this run is essentially not spin, and he'll be able to take the win. Ryan Cummings needs to pray for a miracle, and so far that's not able to happen, and Cummings isn't able to hold on to that entry as well while he leads. That car has been a little bit of a struggle in the wet conditions here at Symmons Plains, did great in the dry, and now Michael Truscott will take the win in these wet and treacherous conditions. Our next pair in the top 16, Simon Michaelmore up against Michael Prosnick in the Supreme Caravans 180SX. He's over from Victoria. Simon Michaelmore all the way from South Australia. He is a G1 champion from that state and now looking to make it in the national circuit. But look at that, throws it nice and early before the crest. So far, Michael Prosnick not able to keep up. A little bit of a correction there from him as he starts the transition into the infield here, and now Simon Michaelmore is simply walking away. Not enough proximity there from Michael Prosnick, so the advantage will go to Simon Michaelmore in the Unique Communications S14. Michael Prosnick in the Supreme Caravans 180SX, he'll lead now, throws it before the crest. Simon Michaelmore's right there, and it's another spin. I tell you what, this competition is simply turning into whoever doesn't spin takes the win. And Simon Michaelmore, he will go through to the top 8, and he looks very happy indeed. Two local boys go head to head now. Andrew Goss has stepped up into the pro ranks for this event, and he's going to be taking on previous Tasmanian champion Ben Purtell in that highly developed GT Garage 180SX. Massive power, not really able to use it in these wet conditions, but one thing he can use is that driving ability. He throws a massive entry out there in that 180SX. Andrew Goss struggling to keep up. He has a straighten there, which will hand a massive advantage over to Ben Purtell, who is on a textbook run in these wet conditions. Andrew Goss has no answer on that run and just simply not able to keep up, and a couple of straightens as well. Andrew Goss needs to hope for a miracle this time. He needs Ben Purtell to spin if he wants any chance at taking the win. He throws it nice and early, bit of a scando, a couple of corrections in the middle there, but finally able to get it out. Back left wheel gets off track, sends him round, and Ben Purtell will make his life even easier. You can see it on the replay there. Andrew Goss goes around, all three judges giving it to Hollywood, and Ben Purtell is going through to the top 8. Two more local drivers going head to head now. Brodie Moore up against Martin Kroll. How's this? A Toyota-powered Nissan going up against a Nissan-powered Toyota. Talk about a mix-match engine combo between these two cars. Brodie Moore leads, big entry in the A86. Martin right there up on that inside line trying to get nice and close, but he isn't able to make it stick and spins on the transition back through the KW suspension corner, and that'll hand the advantage straight to Brodie Moore. Let's see what happens this time. Martin Kroll needs to hope that Brodie spins, because all he needs to do is make it through the run and he will get the win. But once again, Martin Kroll spins on the transition into the KW suspensions corner and hands the win straight to Brodie Moore. I don't think the judges needed to think too hard about that one. Our last pairing in the top 16, Rob White in the Monster Energy 350Z up against Michael Bonney from Victoria in the 180SX. He's still coming to grips with the new setup on this car, but I tell you what, trying to keep up with Rob White in either the wet or the dry, very difficult indeed. But Michael Bonney not doing too bad of a job there to try and hold that speed, but he has a bit of a straighten and a correction coming into the KW suspension corner, which allows Rob White to walk away with the win. The judging is all about proximity and emulation. You need to be close, ladies and gentlemen, and Michael Bonney certainly wasn't close enough when following then. He throws it now before the crest of the hill. Rob White is right there, and he is pushing closer and edging right up on that inside line. A big straighten there, though, from Michael Bonney. That'll be heavily penalised, but Rob White all over the back of him. That's what the judges want to see. A unanimous decision from all three. He's going through to the next round. Stick around, because after the break we head into the top 8 and top 4 tandem battle eliminations here at round 1. Welcome back to round 1 of the Just Car Insurance Australian Drifting Grand Prix. We're about to head into the top 8 battles now. This is the pointy end of the field, and we have some very fierce matchups about to unfold. Our first pairing, Luke Fink, the reigning champion, up against Danny Williamson in the DW Racing Achilles S15 Sylvia. 2JZ under the hood, plenty of power, but not really able to use it. Check it out, that track is still very wet. The rain is still coming down. I tell you what, some drivers have struggled in these conditions. Let's see what these two can do on their very first run. Luke Fink leads, throws it so early. That's a massive entry. Danny Williamson trying to stay with him, not able to do so, into the gravel trap. There was nothing he could do to keep up with Luke Fink on that one, and he will get a massive advantage, 10-0, thanks to that spin from Danny Williamson. Let's check out the replay. Look at the speed from Luke Fink. Danny waits a little while, throws it in. Too fast for that car. Off he goes into the gravel trap. Tell you what, that's a pretty nasty gravel trap, and they're calling it the parts cleaner as it will strip paint off your car. Luke Fink will now have to chase Danny Williamson. Let's see what happens on this run. The 2JZ powered S15, Danny throws it before the crest, and Luke Fink is all over the back. A little bit of a correction there, but he can take it pretty easy on this run. Thanks to the spin by Danny on the first run, Luke Fink simply has to not spin and he'll be able to take the win. Danny showing more of his driving skill on this run, but it's too little, too late. That spin on the first run. And the skill of Luke Fink while chasing means it's a unanimous decision to Luke Fink. He's going through to the top 4.
Danny lost a bit of his car and I thought I'd go pick it up for him, you know. It was maybe a bit of victory. This is my prize.
Our next pairing in the top 8 now, Danny Vahumis, the godfather of drift, up against Michael Truscott, Achilles Radial versus Kumo tyres. What will happen on this run? Michael Truscott qualified in 5th, Danny Vahumis qualified in 4th, so both more than capable here at Symmons Plains Raceway. Danny will lead on this run. The 3.0 bro, over 600 horsepower, throws it in. Michael Truscott is right there on that entry. He has a little bit of correction on that transition to the KW suspension corner, but Danny is starting to walk away from that Kumo tyres S13. The judges want proximity as well as emulation. And you can see here that as they start the transition to that KW suspension corner, I'm not sure if Michael Truscott missed a gear or something, but Danny was able to walk away on that second half of the course, giving him the advantage. Michael Truscott will lead now. The godfather of drift will chase. Truscott throwing in a couple of mungies on that straight before the judges start drifting from where he initiates over the crest there. But Danny able to glue himself to the back of that Kumo tyres S13, pushes up on the inside line. This is the type of proximity the judges want to see. Through the Achilles Radial dogleg, past the I Love Drift finish line. Danny all over the back of Michael Truscott. You can see it here on the replay. And that proximity will give him the win. And the godfather is going through.
The worst part was when I hit the wall at the end, after the finish line, but the best part was catching him on the inside. I've got to fix my stupid car, it's broken.
Previous South Australian champion going up against previous Tasmanian champion Simon Michaelmore, up against Ben Purtell, GT Garage 180SX, SR20 under the hood, over 400 kilowatts at the wheels though, and an RB25 with an RB26 head. Interesting combination in Simon's car. Has less power, even though it probably has just as much torque with that 6-cylinder. Ben Patel throws it over the crest. Simon Michaelmore is able to answer the call, but that's a little bit of a correction. Oh, and a straighten up there from Simon Michaelmore. Even though Ben Patel started to go wide, he straightened up and he'll be penalised for that. He's able to make up for it on the second part of the course there by having good proximity through the Achilles dogleg. But if you look at the replay, you can see a big straighten up from Simon Michaelmore there. He'll be heavily penalised for that. He needs to hope that Ben Patel either spins or has a shocker of a run if he wants to either hope for the win or a rerun. Let's see what happens now as Simon Michaelmore leads in the Unique Communications S14. Look at that. That's a massive entry. He threw that well before the crest of the hill. Ben Patel was not able to match that entry, but he is now starting to gain a little bit of ground and start to push up on the inside line of the Unique Communications S14. Good proximity and good emulation from Ben Purtell through the Achilles Radial dogleg part of the track. But you can see that entry. Although he wasn't able to match it, he still had the advantage from that first run, and Ben Patel gets the vote from all three judges.
So close. He's such an awesome driver. He's been doing it for years. One of the best drivers in the country, so to beat him in front of the home crowd is just awesome. Awesome.
Our last pairing in the top 8 now, Brodie Moore in the Moonar Auto Parts A86 is on song in that little sprinter, and he's going to go up against the monster, the 350Z of Rob White. He has been the fastest man on this track in qualifying, speeds of over 160 k's an hour in the dry. And here you can see here, he doesn't care that it's patchy. He's going to throw it nice and fast, which he does. Brodie Moore tries to answer the call. So far, he's doing quite well, but no, he's not able to make it stick and spins. Rob White's strategy is working again. He simply throws it as fast as he can when he leads and hopes that that trailing car just simply isn't able to keep up. And Rob White, he'll have a massive advantage, 10-0 to him after that spin that you can see on the replay there from Brodie Moore. He simply just wasn't able to make it stick and match the speed of the Monster Energy 350Z. Brodie Moore will lead this time. Rob White can take it easy if he wants to, but so far it looks like he doesn't care about that. He wants to get nice and close and put on a show for the crowd. This is the type of proximity the judges want to see. Rob White pushing up on that inside line of the A86. And the judges are loving this. The crowd will be loving it as well. And Rob White all over the back of the A86 of Brodie Moore. And I'm sure the judges will be handing him the win. Yes, they are. After that spin, he had an advantage, but he decided to put on a show anyway.
Yeah, look, unfortunately I had a spin behind me and on his chase run, and, it gave me the opportunity just to pull away, and, I took it safe. I wanted to push a little bit. I need to get some battle practice for the top 4 now, so I thought I better put a little bit of pressure on and do some battling, and I got in there and gave him some pressure, and yeah, it was a nice, fun run, and it's still slippery out there, but we're looking for the top 4 now.
Well, here we go. We're into the top 4 now. Look at some of the names you're about to see match up against each other. We were supposed to see a rerun of last year's final between Danny Verheumes and Luke Fink, but after Danny Verheumes hit the wall at the end of that top 8 battle, he damaged the suspension and he has to forfeit his run, and he is going to hand the win to Luke Fink on a silver platter, who's now got a free ticket to the finals.
Well, unfortunate for Denzo, broken car. He had a collision with the wall after his last run, so he won the battle but collected the wall on his way out. And he's damaged his steering too much to go on, so he's forfeited, and I get a bit of a gifted pass through this one. Thank God, because my car's not the best either. I'm just praying that my car holds together for this last battle. Please, car, hold together. See you in the final.
Number 2 and number 3 qualify going head-to-head now. Rob White in the Monster Energy 350Z up against the last Tasmanian standing in this competition, Ben Purtell. All of the Apple Isle's hopes and dreams ride on his shoulders, but Rob White has been very tough to beat this weekend. He's in top form in that 350Z. Both cars have over 400 kilowatts at the wheels and are highly developed, very evenly matched. Will Rob White use his normal strategy? Yes, he does. Goes extremely fast, throws it in. Ben Purtell so far able to make it stick, but he washes off a little bit too much speed. There's a little bit of a correction coming through the KW suspension corner into that second outer clipping zone, and that allows Rob White to gain some more ground between them and get the advantage. You can see here on the replay that Rob White is simply just driving away from Ben Purtell. He's not able to keep up, and that'll be an advantage to Rob White. Ben Purtell will lead now on this run. He needs to do the same thing. He needs to try and walk away from Rob White, but the speed of that car has been incredible. You can see Ben Purtell putting a couple of munges in there, but Rob White, he ignores those and throws it in before the crest, and it's a spin there from Ben Purtell. He wasn't able to make it stick, and Rob White, he'll be a happy camper now. He goes through, the hand out the window. He's happy. All 3 judges are going to give it to him, and he's going to go through to the finals to go up against Luke Fink.
Yeah, through to the final. It's going to be good. Yeah, that's it. Me and Fink, it's going to be good. I just got to keep relaxed and, look, the worst thing I can get now is second place, and, there's nothing wrong with that. So just, it's going to be fun. Go out there and have some fun.
Don't go anywhere, as after the break, we're going to head into the finals to see who takes out the very first round of the 2012 Just Car Insurance Australian Drifting Grand Prix. Welcome back to round one of the Just Car Insurance Australian Drifting Grand Prix. It's finals time now. We were supposed to see Danny Vahumis go up against Ben Purtell in the battle for third, but this impact with the wall meant that the godfather of drift had to retire, and that handed the third place victory straight to Ben Purtell, who celebrated in style in that GT Garage 180SX.
Over the moon, yeah. Can't be any happier with this weekend. It's been excellent, so a bit lucky with a couple of the battles today, but you take the good with the bad, and I think, yeah, but really happy with the weekend. Yeah, had a number of close calls, both on and off the track. Had to replace the fuel pump at lunchtime and a few other little things that were minor annoyances, but luckily I've got an awesome crew and they pulled through and we got there in the end and got the result. I'm pretty competitive and we're only here to win, so we think we can win and got pretty close today, but thirds are still a good result. It's a long season, so see what happens at Calder Park.
Now this is a final that many predicted this weekend. Number one qualifier Luke Fink in the Holford Motors S14 Sylvia up against Rob White in the Monster Energy 350Z. Luke Fink has a lot of experience competing in the finals, so who has the most pressure on them? The man with the target on his back, the reigning champion, or Rob White, his first time in an Australian Drifting Grand Prix final? Luke Fink leads, Rob White gives chase. Look at the speed of these two cars as they come down the straight, and Luke Fink throws down a massive entry. He was sideways well before the crest. Rob White is able to keep up, but that's a little correction there and a bit of a straighten up from Rob White. He hit that inside ripple strip. He's able to get back on it, regain his composure and get back onto the arse end of Luke Fink for the second half of the run. But let's have a look at that replay. We'll bring it up now. You can see that Rob White has a little bit less angle here, hits that inside ripple strip, causes another little correction. And that will give the advantage to Luke Fink on that run. Let's see what happens in the second run. We'll bring them back around to the start line now. This time, Rob White will lead in the Monster Energy 350Z. Luke Fink will have to give chase. They're ready. The starter will send them off. Let's see what happens on this second run here in the finals. Rob White had entry speeds of over 160 k's an hour in the dry, not far off it in these damp conditions. Another massive entry from Rob White, but Luke Fink is able to stay all over the back of him. Luke Fink pushes up on that inside line. They're a little bit of a straighten up from Rob White as they came through that second outer clip, and Luke Fink is all over the back of him and showing why he is the reigning national champion. Let's cut to the replay now, and you can see that Luke Fink, the only man able to take it to Rob White on one of his massive entries. But coming out here, you can see that Rob White has a straighten up, which enables Luke Fink to get all over the back of him through the Achilles radial dogleg, and that will hand him the win. So let's head to the trophy presentation and catch up with the winners.
Luke Fink, ladies and gentlemen, to the Holford Motors S14.
Yeah, look, great. I mean, look, Luke's a great driver, and for him to put down the run he did and you know, put it to us, I went in there faster than I thought I could go. The track was drying up every lap, and you know, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. You know, we were pushing back up to nearly 160 again, like we were yesterday, and I just threw it and held it, and you know, he managed to wind me in. I had a little bit of a muck up, you know, through the midsection, which slowed me down, which gave Luke the opportunity to come in and grab me. So, you know, I feel good. You know, it feels great. We've come all this way from Tasmania, from the Gold Coast, and you know, we're up the top there. You know, we beat a lot of people to get to where we were, and you know, look, it's going to be a long season. So, you know, there's plenty more times to hopefully get Luke back.
Just stressing out about the car holding together. We had the map sensor issue. It's just a little wiring issue. It's a $20 part, and it's just so frustrating when something like that happens. But just battled through it. I can't remember, I went against Kelly Wong, she drove really well. It's pretty like dicey weather. My car was cutting out the whole time against her, and like I was just lucky to get through, and we had a little bit of a coming together at the end there. And then Denzo was unfortunately had the broken car, so for some reason this car just started running normally. And then in the final, when I was after the warm-up run, the map sensor started playing up again. All the way around the back of the track, the car wasn't running, and it was just moving along. And then it came good just before the start line, and we did the battles, and then the gearbox broke on the last run. It's like I don't even know what to say. Just spent most of my energy, worrying about the car and not really thinking too much about the battles. But then after we had that first run with Rob, and I saw he was kind of close, I was like. The first run I had, I don't know, I can't even remember. It was just a ridiculously cool day, so I just had fun. Bit of stress, but it worked out in the end.
The expression sessions are a chance for both the pro and privateer class drivers to head out on track together and let it all hang out with no pressure of competition. It certainly can lead to a few thrills and spills. The expression sessions brought an end to round one of the Just Car Insurance Australian Drifting Grand Prix. Here's your top 10 for the weekend. The top 5 qualifiers took out the top 5 spots, and coincidentally in the same order as well. There's 4 Tasmanians in the top 10, 2 of which will be continuing on to do the remaining rounds. You can get more event result information and series information from our website, AustralianDriftingGP.com. If you live in Melbourne, make your way to the Calder Park Thunderdome June 16th and 17th for round 2, and we head to South Australia in September and finish the season at Barbagallo Raceway in Western Australia.